Emergency workers clearing rubble Tuesday, hours after Russian strikes on the vital Ukrainian port of Odessa. Local authorities accusing Moscow of firing hypersonic missiles on the key Black Sea site to disrupt supply chains of incoming Western weapons and of exports like grain, wheat, and corn. Now, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is urging the international community to take action to end a Russian blockade, to allow shipments, and prevent a global food crisis.
This is not just a strike at Ukraine. Without our agrarian export, dozens of countries in various regions of the world have found themselves on the brink of food deficit. With time, the situation can truly become disastrous.
Ukraine was the world's fourth largest exporter of corn and the number 6 wheat exporter before the invasion, according to International Grains Council data. Now, nearly 25 million tons of grains are stuck in Ukraine, unable to leave, the UN Food Agency says. This a factor behind high food prices around the world, with the pinch also being felt in Canada.
Now we have a brewing catastrophe in many countries.
Ted Billia is a distinguished fellow with the Canadian Agri-Food Policy Institute. He says the war on Ukraine is putting an additional strain on food security in dozens of countries which were already reeling from the pandemic.
All of a sudden, you're removing the largest supplier to the World Food Program, which was Ukraine. They were buying heavily from Ukraine on the wheat. There's about 86 countries, I think, that are involved with the World Food Program in one way or another, and some of those are pretty desperate. So if we turn around and look at the world supply today, we can't really make that up in any particular place. It's just suddenly disappeared, those large percentages. So I think we have a variety of problems. The one we're feeling the most in Canada, of course, is the food inflation, which comes from that.
The Ukraine war is overlapping. The impact is overlapping with a crisis that has already been unfolding in several countries.
The assistant director of the UN's Food and Agricultural Association says nearly half of the African continent relies on Russia and Ukraine for wheat imports. And even before the conflict, food inflation was pushing many African families to the brink after global food commodity prices soared over 23% last year.
We have a very grim outlook going forward, unfortunately.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who visited Ukraine Sunday, pledged Canada's assistance to help export Ukraine's stored grain. There are fears that silos, already full and kept from shipping out, could result in storage shortages during the next harvest, if it happens. And there are reports of Russian forces stealing Ukrainian farming equipment and grain, which Moscow denies.
What are we really going to do here? There's physically not much left in Canada to ship. I think we're sweeping the bottom of the grain bins right now. We're hoping and praying that the new crop in North America that's coming is going to be a good one. In fact, we need a bumper crop.